Charlie Munger recently said that Big Law is...
It's like a pie eating contest where if you win, you get to eat more pie.
This was probably my favorite line from the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting this year, which I actually got to attend and got to meet quite a few of you who watch the channel and many of you who watch the Punch Card Investing channel as well. It was a really great time and I'm looking forward to attending future meetings. But how true is Charlie Munger's statement, and is it really that unique to Big Law? Well, I spent a couple of years in Big Law and know quite a few who are both in it and have been in Big Law, so I'll offer what I can. Now, the way Big Law works is that as an associate, you have a hefty hours requirement. An associate is more like a lower to mid-level attorney who is below a partner. The partner would typically have an ownership stake in the business, in the law firm, and they are the ones that theoretically are bringing in the business, and then the associates bill a bunch of hours. It's not that partners don't bill lots of hours themselves, but typically the associates are going to take the brunt of the hours billed on a particular matter. But anyways, associates typically have to bill around 2,000 billable hours every single year. And that's specifically billable time. The actual time worked will probably be quite a bit higher than that, assuming an associate meets his or her minimum requirements. Now, some firms will make associates try to find work with partners more organically, in that associates will have to request work from partners, or partners may directly request to those associates, but it's much more organic compared to some other firms which might be a bit more rigid, and it's following more of a pipeline structure, if you will, and that each associate might have a more rigid job assignment and they're getting stuff sent to them all the time. They're not really asking for it. And a lot of firms are a mix of both of those approaches, but either way, an associate has to bill a lot of hours if they want to stay, and they have to do good work across all of those hours. And if you don't do good work, or you don't meet your minimum billable hour requirements, you're out. But if you do the work well and you do meet those requirements, well, you get to eat more pie. You can look at it this way. If you have a team of associates and one associate is removed from the team because he or she wasn't meeting their minimum hours requirement, and all the other associates were, and they were doing great work, well, the reward for all those associates is they now get to tap into all of those hours that the former associate was working on. And partners are typically going to work with associates that they're more comfortable working with, so those associates will continue to get more hours as opposed to those that they're not comfortable working with. Now, every firm is going to be a bit different when it comes to all of this, and even the teams within a firm can vary quite widely. But either way, there was a lot of truth to what Charlie Munger was saying. But the thing is, I don't think it's that unique to law specifically. I think you could apply it to a whole wide range of industries, especially when we're talking about big companies with big teams and big hierarchies. That is, you might be working at a company and you're doing real well at your job, and your reward ends up being you get more work that you were doing before. Maybe the work gets a bit tougher, but you don't really see a very big jump in your pay, even if your responsibilities might be quite a bit greater. And that's partly because it might be very difficult to actually measure what the monetary value of a particular task is. How do you actually put a value on the time saved by an administrative assistant when it's affecting multiple departments, affecting multiple teams and multiple individuals who themselves might not even be paid based on the amount of business they're bringing in with that saved time? So all I'm saying is it might be hard to measure, and in that case, you might kind of see a breakdown of incentives where the reward for doing good work ends up being getting more work. And unless you really like that work or you're really learning a lot from it, that can get frustrating very quickly. And just like a pie eating contest, it might be really fun for the first pie or even two, but once you get past that, it's going to start getting old really fast. And I think the key lesson here, especially when you're working for someone else, is to make sure that you're actually getting what you want out of the job. Maybe that's education, maybe that's money, but at a certain point the money effect kind of wears off as you save more, as you invest more, and you just simply have more. In that, the first $10,000 that you earn might have a much bigger effect on your life than the next 10 or 20,000. But either way, if you're not growing in your position and you're not learning, and the only thing that is growing is your pile of work that really isn't that fulfilling or that educational, then you really have to question why you're there. But I guess you could say we should always question why we're doing something, especially when it comes to our careers, because that typically is where a ton of our time is spent, at least during our waking hours. And you only have so many hours in a day. And if you're working at a pie eating contest where the reward is getting to eat more pie, it's probably time to reconsider, because there are a lot of other ways to learn and make money. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, and until next time.